Okay, we're just waiting for some people to come, so bear with us. Anyone who's there? 0 viewers. Okay, cool.
You got a recognition? This is the people meeting out there. Yeah. Freaking people out.
Hey.
Hey man.
How's it going?
Did we do something special to make this work last time?
No, you got to plug it in first. No, to my thing. Hold on. Nah, it's gonna have a signal. Just give me a sec.
No, mate.
Did I share? Yes, I would have shared it. Yeah. But I don't know, because I remember ages ago. Or the stuff. Yeah, just an example. Right. So, okay. Okay.
Computer.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But, that's probably not the best, but yeah. Look what we're doing. So there's usually mainly space.
We have power now.
So that's just. And maybe it's sort of now having a
There we go.
waiting until we get a workshop and then having a discussion video about that'll be happening now.
0 viewers. Everyone who's like, can you please do it online? 0 viewers. All right. The faith ecology.
No, I see, like, there's all these bits.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine it's
I'm a bit confused, but this should be a lot more people right now.
Yeah. Well, the exercises. Yeah, it's a collaborative exercise where basically it's the idea comes from, let's say CEO and he's also you can elevate
Sorry?
looking at the and so it reduces their we are
Okay. Have to remember that I'm broadcasting. Yeah, I have to sign in with an new incognito. Yeah, because Google Docs kind of sucks.
We got a big room as well.
Sorry?
We got a big room as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been today. Good on you. That's way to work out how to change clothes and shower and locate it out of things.
And then we also use what's
Have you got a microphone? Yeah, sure.
So basically, it's grading mechanisms. We get people in, name of the party, with colleagues, with messaging, it's not like, well, put the line right there, messaging.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, totally.
I've just been going. Yeah, I heard about this.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
I think you left the voicemail on my phone to remind me to So I know
How many viewers do we have? 0 viewers.
I didn't get back to you, but
That's the show.
different fonts and oh, color is awesome. Maybe there's a magic thing. They've done it quite convenient. They've done it without some links. I think so. Because if you ask, let's have a look. Back. Unknown number. Yeah. You trust unknown numbers. Yes. I think all of that's hello. Hey, what's up? Oh, you could probably flog a key from the Sarah's the drawer on the left. All the spare security keys are just sitting in that drawer. I think. Yeah. Don't tell anyone you did it though. Actually, just don't tell anyone.
Andrews, there was James Haggerty ran with me in the state election. He's one of the founders. 2 Alexes. Alex Fun, Alex David. 2 Toms, 2 Andrea.
Two rivers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, right, okay, so it skips the colour on the tint bit. This feature is not in the, this must be the Provo version of the,
And that's just a change.
and the colour temperature when you change it, it's like, can you see, look at that.
Hey Marcus, how's it going?
Hey, you dress for the occasion.
I'm trying to the Sean? Sash, yeah, sorry.
What were these guys
Ecology, religious ecology? No, spiritual ecology.
Yeah, well, I'm looking to,
You know, we just need to like start peddling bullshit. Like that's the way you win.
I'm just gonna
Religious ecology or something. Yeah. Anyway, just make it. It doesn't have to be real. Exactly. Stop it. I spent ages preparing this. So, yeah, do it properly.
I don't know what I'm doing. I was thinking it actually does anything.
Whoa. Don't break it.
Isn't doing anything. Go back out.
What are we down to? Patters. Why does Patters say he's going to go?
What? Hang on. What do you mean? Oh, you mean this one? Oh, I gave up. That's how easy I give up. It's just washing it out. If I go that way, I never go this way.
Okay,
Oh, this is
Dylan,
like painful.
Marcus, Peter.
It's weird. The brightness settings actually go, the numbers move slower
Oh.
than the contrast.
Stefan.
So
Josh,
if I go
Linda.
up to here, see how they move quicker? These ones move quicker.
this one.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm going to reset them.
Yeah, that was awesome.
These ones are slow. See? As a developer, some way just laughing, still laughing about how just screw on with people's heads. Oh my god. Yeah, and every time it doesn't matter how quick you press the button either. Like that's not how it works. Like, it actually goes, it doesn't move when you go fast. So you have to do it its way.
Yeah. An hour and a half. I don't know what's happening to like half the people who said that. Usually when they said those guys always causing struggles. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get going in a minute. Once I put this on. Okay, I might get all right. Do we want to get going? Good work there, Marcus. All right. So good. All right. Ready to go? Yeah. Okay. I actually don't know if this is going to work. Let's just hope it's going to work. How do you get that thing off?
Oh, it stays. Stays forever. Full screen?
Is it full screen? Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to winning the 2016 federal election. Down a few people, but this will make a good. Well, it'll give you people who are active members actually an idea of some of the stuff that I have in mind for the party generally. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. So how do we win an election? What we need to do is we need to inspire people. And the way that we inspire people is that we make them believe in our message. And we have to make them believe in the representatives. So we have to tell people something that they like, something that they can believe in, and they can see a group of people who are willing to execute that. So that's what we need to do. So we need to be very convincing when we create our materials, and we need to be visible. So we need to be very active. We need to be always there from basically this point on. In the past, we've had periods where we had a break, because you finish off the federal election or you finish off the New South Wales election, people are pretty exhausted. In the lead up to the federal election, which will be essentially within a year, we need to keep the pressure on constantly. The major things that we plan to do. Oh, don't take a photo like this. Okay.
Gotta get your good side.
Yeah, exactly. So the big plans that we need to execute over the next 12 months is getting organised, and I'll talk a bit about teams, growth, branding and promotion, growth, electoral positioning, so lining ourselves up for the processes involved in the election itself, raising revenue for the party, and updating the policy. Those are the big things that we need to be aiming for completing by the next federal election. Okay, getting organised. Naturally, our organisation is very decentralised. So we have the challenge of working with a lot of different people in a lot of different places at different times and with different interests. So making sure that that's all working together is going to be a bit of a task. We have started doing that already, and it's been relatively successful with the Asana. Asana's really working well at the moment in terms of categorizing tasks and communications. And so when we get a new member in, we can automatically assign them to tasks. And I'm pretty sure most people have had good experiences with it so far. Sure, Dylan. Yeah. It's so good for keeping track of those tasks which are like, oh, we should do this one day. And you chuck it in. And if you get to it, you get to it. If not, it's still there for you to come back for. But you can deprioritize it. You can speak to it when it comes up. It's great. And none of this like, I'm going to look for an email. Anyway, we need to use that to delegate tasks. So we need to get some of the high-level work, which is currently done by a group of maybe 5 or 6 people, to fan that out into a larger group of volunteers. We need all of our active members assigned to a team. So I think pretty much everyone here is assigned to a team at the moment. But anyone new that comes in needs to get associated with the team, so that the team leads can follow up with the primary members of those teams. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of a problem with all of these members being managed by 1 or 2 people, which is an issue that we've had in the past. So these are our teams. We've got administration, analysis and finance, design and branding, inter-party relations, IT, membership, policy, and social media. Okay. Unfortunately, the way that this is set up, these teams, is I'm going to be presenting a lot of them at the moment, but there are other teams. So firstly, administration. I'm the lead of this. Yeah, it's a shame. So I'm the lead of administration, and the reason why that is because it's, I guess it's a relatively technical and legal thing for the party to do. So me, Tom Gordon, Tom Burt, Alex Fagan, that's the executive. Then we have Andrea Fino, who's the registered officer. And then we have Saritha, who's our secretary. Those are the formal members of this group. Obviously, there's other people who've contributed, like Andrea, here and there. And other people who've helped with the re-registration of the party, for example. So that's like a task for administration. So that's the team members for this group. It's a very formal group, but essentially they're in charge of making executive decisions. So how we run the party, final sign-off on party policy after it's gone through the policy group and gone to the discussion group. Dealing with the AEC, it's pretty important that we keep on top of that. We almost missed the boat on re-registering because of issues with the AEC sending communications to the wrong person with the wrong home address listed with the AEC. But thankfully, a little bit of follow-up on that made sure that we actually went through with the re-registration process.
So the AEC have been pretty good. I think, like the communications, like when the dialogue that Saritha's been having with them, actually like sound like normal people at the other end.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's good because the other group that we have to deal with, who will remain unnamed, is the local version of that is a little bit all over the place. So that's that team. Analysis and finance. So this is a new team, generally in the party. Like, the idea of this is to do numbers, which is actually one of our strong points for a lot of people in the party. A lot of people are scientists, mathematicians, statisticians. So using our skills to apply them to various things. So at the moment, the main people are, Tom Burt is leading this. He would be presenting today, but he's unfortunately on his way to Adelaide at the moment. Jordan Mastrick has been doing a lot of the work on there. I'm on there. Xander, Steve, and Chris King are all formally on that team at this stage. So the core functions of the team. Okay. Yeah. So to do analysis of costing of policies where it's relevant. So the 2020 report, we created a gigantic Excel model to work out immigration intake to determine the population size with time. So it was pretty fancy. I was pretty proud of that creation, which was a lot of work from Tom Burt, Jordan and I, putting that together.
When was it?
That would have been in the lead up to the federal election, 2020 report. So yeah, it was basically advocating for a larger Australia and the intake that you'd need to have to achieve that. So analysis of interaction, so essentially customer conversion and retention. So working out where we're getting our memberships coming in from, how much it costs for us to do that sort of stuff, and working out how long people stay and, essentially projecting finances and memberships and stuff like that. Managing the party's finances, so balancing the books. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And fundraising. All right, design and branding. This is, I guess this has been a core aspect of the Future Party for quite a while. We have always had, okay, sort of promotional materials. The lead on this formally at the moment is me, but I'm hoping to find someone else to take over. Sash here, he's helping out with the branding project. River Phoenix, she has been involved in designing lots of really cool things for the party over a long period. And a few other people here who have signed up to go to the branding day, which is later this month. Essentially, this team is in charge of what the party sees. So what the overarching message of the whole party is, and the materials that we produce. So flyers, we've got the principal statement here, videos, and other graphics. So upcoming events, there's going to be a branding day on the 16th of August. So if people want to come along to that, let us know. Also,
The workshop?
yeah, it's a workshop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're limited to about 10 people. Yeah.
Okay, but you I can jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I do want to talk a bit further about this. It's not meant to be an open event, it's meant to be more of a structured event.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's definitely an event, but it'll have to be, regardless of the location, it will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
24 hours. Because we are looking to be branded, so can we call it brand us? Brand us?
No.
Brand us.
Well, it sounds pretty bad when it's a branding day, right? Like you're going to walk up and end up with
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
If you're going to plug it.
Okay. Branding workshop. Cool. So, what's happening? Sorry, I'm just. Yeah, that's right. Still 0 viewers. What's going on? Okay. Okay. Next one is inter-party relations. So the main purpose of that is to communicate with groups outside of the Future Party. I think that this is a really important team. So at the moment on that team is myself, Tom Gordon, Tom Burt, Andre Fino, Wayne, Eddie, and David Gabb. Yeah, I guess that's the big point. We can't do this on our own. We need to form alliances with other groups so that we can do things like work together on campaigns, preference, pick up other members. So it's really important that we keep those relationships going. And we've heard some good things about different organisations and people that we can be contacting, particularly coming from Tom, I think, and a little bit from.
Like I'm keeping my eye on pretty much any organisation or I think this misrepresents our true objective here when we say to party. It doesn't necessarily have to be a registered party,
Political
right?
party, yeah. So,
ideally, if we want to do the whole, preferencing thing, that's what we're targeting primarily, but secondary to that, pretty much any groups that are in line with our core values, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think we could change the name, but I like that name because it kind of formalizes it because there's.
Oh, you mean
it's party?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Registered. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So we have transhumanist other non-party groups and the Alliance for Progress, which has already been set up and is going okay. Have another meeting next Thursday. We expect quite a few people there, so I think it's going all right. I think I surprised Glenn Drury by organising it, which is a good thing. We're a little bit ahead of him because he's busy actually in Parliament negotiating there. So I think we're doing well with the Alliance for Progress. Okay, next, IT.
Nice.
Can I embrace some of the
Yeah.
sort of party relations? Just food for thought that it might be something to understand the branding as well.
Okay.
Yeah. How we appear next to other organisations or parties would be really important.
What distinguishes us and how people can relate one party to the other
I
and
think it's
stuff.
more of, if we're doing a good job and we're offering really good information and we're working with these other people to call that out, and if we want to be seen as, hey, this is us and we're working with other people, it's that, hey, this is us and how we're telling people that. Is really important when we're working in groups. But it's just what it might be.
So like, yeah, management of the message around us organising the Alliance for Progress, I guess. Is that what it's?
It could be like, let's say Future Party's collected a lot of data on something and it's formed part of the policy, and we've worked with another.
Can you let the?
And we work with another group that's
Just use that term. Yeah.
working on the same issue. It's kind of like, and the Future Party helped us out with this, or we worked together to do this, so it might be braiding in that way.
Yeah.
It's broader story.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we should talk about that.
To that issue, like, does that include fundraising as well, like relationships with potential like companies or groups that could
I think that would probably be the finance analysis and finance group's job. I think the majority of this is like alliance building, you know, friend making sort of stuff. In terms of asking for money, a lot of the organizations that we'd be asking for help with probably wouldn't give us money.
So
I
it's
guess,
sort of be like they'd approach us and first we approach
for donations.
them.
Yeah, probably. I given my experience so far with trying to source donations from companies, I don't think they care much unless you're specifically fulfilling an agenda and look like you're going to win. And by the time we get to a point where we have a chance of winning, I think it will be too late for them, to participate in fundraising for the future party.
What about targeting entrepreneurs that, you know, obviously in Australia that, and potentially VCs and stuff that have got money that they invest in, but that are in line with our principles that they would like to see our policies happen?
Yeah,
It would be worth trying to hunt those people down.
it would be good
Crash tackle.
if you've got direct contacts with any of them.
Well, that's a whole networking thing, right? I mean, you need to get out there and talk.
Yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of that sort of stuff. Well, at least trying. So going to startup days and stuff like that. You know, any sort of place where people who have common ideals are congregating is a good thing. So Tom's been doing a lot of sciencey stuff. Not sure I'm allowed to say about any of it, but you know, we can use those sorts of events to approach those people. It is hard though, because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why companies like the ASX give $110,000 each to the Labor Party and the Liberal Party, but no one else, because they want to give money to the winners. So despite the fact that there might be something in our policy for them, for example. So, yeah.
Shame there's no NASDAQ or something in Australia. What about instead of asking for money, ask them for input, or ask them what they want as a policy or something like that, and then get them involved that way until they put into it, and then they think, oh look, it's $1,000, it's nothing, you've done something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Probably the best way to do that is find people in the companies that are working, just trying to put out feelers for as many of these companies as possible. So, you know, I know some people who work for some fairly major startups, so I could probably hassle them. Well, not for input. They're fairly close to the party, so maybe hassle them for contacts. I know there's another person who's an employee at a major firm that's interested in startups and stuff like that. So they could probably, the more that we encourage them to use their work to work with us, then the better. You know, so other employees in the company get to know us, I guess. It's pretty hard lining up conversations with CEOs. So unless you got something to offer them that's big. Let's move on to the next section. Andrea, do you want to?
Sure. How do you want me to control this? Would it press buttons?
Yeah, the presenter notes are, not
I don't
very
have any
good.
notes. Yeah. So we're going to do this. How many people are there?
So that's for the Google Hangouts, and that one on Google Hangouts and one on no one on my camera. So that's the next one.
You can open it.
Yep.
Yes. So I'm the team lead for the IT team. I think I took over from Alex Fagan. He had PhD stuff to do, and I don't think he cares to get back to the IT stuff anytime soon. But Yeah, as you can see, it's a fully loaded team. Not a lot of room. If anyone wants to help out, you'd be fine for positions. But at the moment, yeah, it's just me, Andrea, and James, pretty much just going through and just dealing with general maintenance. So the technologies we use at the moment is Nation Builder, which is for the hosting the website. We can actually do microsites as well. We haven't really done any through Nation Builder just yet. But it's been pretty good because not only does it deal with the website stuff, it also deals with member management, which is something we need to get a handle on. We use Google Apps for Business for all the Future Party kind of emails and document management and everything. And Cloudflare recently implemented Cloudflare that sits over the front of the website, so that deals with any kind of DDoS issues that we might get at some point, just caching of the content in general, and also does DNS management. So we have full control of the domain name again, to get back from Nation Builder. So responsibilities. Basically, this is what all the IT does right now. It's website maintenance, which is essentially just updates to the content, not necessarily writing the content, but if people are having trouble when they write content, because a lot of people have access to Nation Builder, so that leaves a lot of people being able to add content to it. But sometimes there's technical hurdles to get the content set in the site properly, so that's normally where IT comes in, which ties in with the website design as well. So anytime a new design feature needs to be implemented, that's going to fall onto us. And also, we generally have a lot of discussion in the online meetings about different types of designs and layouts that can be tweaked in the site. So it also includes Google account administration, which is not a big thing. Just whenever we have new members and if we need to set up custom email addresses through Google. Domain management, again, not really a big deal. And the membership database management, which is kind of a big deal. And again, it's one of the things on the to-do list. So first off, we're looking at overhauling the homepage, keeping the site generally the same, but just changing the entry point to be a little bit more engaging for people when they first see the site. And just so it has a little bit more relevant information for people that are first looking up anything about the Future Party. So there's also organising and curating the membership data, which is kind of a long-term project, but we need to get a handle on the bulk of it pretty soon, just to make it easier for the membership guys to deal with memberships and being able to use Nation Builder more completely. We're also working on developing a paid membership section, so moving to paid memberships in a kind of a tiered format, I think it was $52 and $104, depending on how much you earn, I guess. And I don't know. We still need to come up with some copy and on how to sell the memberships. That's going to be implemented pretty soon. One thing is, again, it's maybe slightly long term. This will probably go through some iterations, but streamlining the whole onboarding process for new members. So making them feel like they're getting engaged with the party a little bit more, and making sure that they've got the right point person kind of assigned to them, so they know who to talk to when they have questions, and making them feel like they're actually part of a party as opposed to just a statistic. So, and website content, which is, again, like I mentioned before, it's just an ongoing thing. Anytime we need automated emails, dealing with that content, and also just general website content. So I think in a lot of cases, content can be written by pretty much anyone, but not anyone has the ability or the knowledge to put that onto the website. So that's where we come in, and I'm more than happy, or ideally anyone in the IT team is more than happy to insert the content where it's required. So I think recently Andrea has gone through and overhauled a whole bunch of the the links in the top nav, and
Great.
yeah, just cleaned it up a little bit. I think it has made a bit of difference just by doing that. And yeah, this Saturday, if anyone is interested, at James's place, we're probably just going to spend a half day going over some of the content on the site and cleaning it up and just doing a few odds and ends. It's probably not going to be a long day, I don't imagine. We'll probably work on implementing the membership page and nailing that, and then other than just whatever kind of odds and ends we can think of at the time. But that's probably going to go from maybe about 11-ish in the morning to 4-ish in the afternoon, I guess. At the moment, it's just James and me. Anyone else welcome, if you just want to watch, which is weird. Yeah.
That meant when? Sorry? That meant it went on.
More importantly, if you have any things that you wanted added to the website or anything that you thought is pressing, you feel needs to be changed in the website, this is an opportunity to stick in Asana or email somebody about it and let us know. If it's an easy thing to implement, then we can do it on Saturday. I think, we can make the dev days a regular thing. If, like, a lot of times we all get jammed up with, real life stuff and we never get time to do a lot of things. I think the dev days really offer us an opportunity just to think about that one thing and get a lot of stuff done in one day. So
Something like this every couple of months, probably.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to kind of call this a regular thing. So expect if you miss one, there'll be another one coming at some point. We can just call them whenever we feel like we're starting to get overloaded with website stuff. That's my email address. Pretty cool, huh? And memberships. Who's memberships? It's you. I don't know. This screen went off. Does that matter? Do you have to keep tapping it?
That does not have space, probably.
You're recording?
Yeah, I was. All right. That's a shame. Anyway, might have to go back to the, what do you call it? The actual Hangouts. All right.
I don't think anyone's watching.
There's one viewer. Who's the one viewer? I can't tell.
It's you.
Nah, it's not me. All right. All right. Dylan, there you go.
Alright, so in terms of membership, I think as a basic sort of principle, things have been growing really well, and there's been like a huge explosion recently. I've only started getting more involved around a month or so ago, but before that, there was a real big explosion. We had a huge growth in members, which I think has been brilliant.
Why or how? Or is it just the reach?
So the reason why it happened, in my opinion, is there was a sense of urgency. Like I went to the party. I said, we're going to close up if we don't have enough members. And then people felt like, yeah, we got to do this. Yeah, that's it. We got to do this. And so having that sense of urgency, like
Deadline.
yeah, here's the date. It's got to be done. It works. Part of the problem with politics at the moment is because the election is so far out, people get disengaged. And so what was nice about the Gillard election, probably why so many political parties got registered, is because there was that deadline. Everyone knew what time the election was going to be called. But at the moment, no one knows. It could be, anyway. So, that's...
We also had a
It's
huge
weird.
influx from the Transhumanist Party. So the 19 or so members who are part of the Transhumanists became like official Future Party members. So that contributed a lot. I'm sure they put the word out a bit as well when that happened. So at the moment, it's me, Nick, Steve, and Andrea helping out. So basically, we're just looking at contacting all the new members who join the party. So we send out an email when they join, which basically outlines like our policy vision and the different ways they can get involved. So we list the 8 different groups we have, and basically just offer them a way to become more than just, you know, this superficial member, but actually somebody like deeply involved in the party. And so we have a new email out welcome message, and also going through the process of trying to call each individual new member as well. I think like really engaging with all new members on a personal level and trying to make them feel part of the Future Party family. Like feel part of the group is really important, and we'll get them more engaged and more happy to like contribute their time. So at the moment, yeah, we're emailing out to all new members, and we've got a list of new members that we're trying to get in contact with via phone. At the moment, it's me, Nick, and Andrew and James, and there's a lot of new members to call. So we're having a few issues going through the whole list, but we're getting through it eventually. Yeah, that would be great. So we got like an Asana page basically with like people listed who we want to get in contact with. So I can talk with that.
Yeah, help me find out where that is.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll.
So yeah, basically that's the agenda at the moment, trying to get more involved with new members and really trying to reach out when they join the party. So put my personal email address there down, but it's memberships@futureparty.org.au. Probably contact me, there's my phone number as well. So next up is policy.
Yep, I head up the policy group and
We need to focus on the actual.
Just click.
Oh.
Yeah, now it should work.
and we are here to tell you what you think. So David, Xander and Patters are also on the team, but I haven't met them, but you know, in real life. But they are at all the, well, they come to the online meetings.
So they are real.
They're, well,
Or maybe.
there's someone. Oh,
Or is it just one person in 2 different places?
okay, so no, we're not here to tell you what you think. What we actually do is we manage the development of policies. So when I say we're collating ideas, just throughout, you know, over time, people will say we don't have a policy on X, and so it's I sort of see it as our responsibility to then bring that to the meeting and say, hey, we should probably get a policy on X, but also it's members' responsibility as well to come to us and say, if they see a gap in our policy platform, say, hey, we should do this. And then we'll delegate to whoever's interested and whoever knows a bit about it, which is usually the person who brings it up. And then we'll work on that policy week to week and bring it back and forth to the meetings, and once it's at a stage we're pretty happy with it, we'll finalise it, send it to the exec, and my understanding is if the exec is pretty happy with it, aligning with the party's values, they'll then put it to the members more widely for a final look over the draft, and then that will be finalised. So that's pretty accurate.
It's probably more like policy group, just look, put it to discussion.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the executive just rubber stamps it in
Yeah.
most cases. You know, unless there's an issue, unless it violates the principles of the party. Yeah, it's pretty good. So.
Yeah, I just wasn't certain because I actually haven't seen anything go through start to finish yet. But
Space policy went through anyway.
oh,
That meetings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then publishing the final policy, we work with the social and traditional media teams to get that out. And the other thing we've got going, we've just started, is the Repeal Watch. So all the legislation that goes through recently. Sorry?
Besides that, a lot of that, that's right.
So that's, we've got a page on our website which is in its infancy, but all the legislation that passes or has been recently passed that we think is fairly rubbish and we want to see repealed goes up there with a bit of an explain as to why it's bad. So currently we're reviewing the entire platform, make sure everything's current for upcoming elections. Things have changed in the last few years, obviously. So we've got 18 policy sections at the moment and just need everyone, not everyone. We need someone to cast an eye over each of them. So I don't think we have any official delegation of that. It was just people saying they'd be happy to do that. So we should put names to sections.
I think it'd be good if we just push it through on the discussion group. Like, this is going to be reviewed over the next 3 days. Give you comments, and just one at a time.
These are the
otherwise-
new policies.
No, they're review.
The
Oh,
existing
okay.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because it all needs to be. I mean, there's a few problems with it, like as in, spelling and grammar stuff generally. But also the fact that, our policy says that we shouldn't have mandatory data retention, but it talks about it. It's a true. So you need to
Update it.
Yeah. Or generalize it.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing we need to look at for our existing policy and but also these new policies in the pipeline. So there's a lot going on.
It's probably worth mentioning as well, I think, at least 2 of those policies were discussed in the monthly meetings. So it's important, I guess, to outline to maybe new members and even existing members that if you really want to have a good discussion about what the future policies will be, come to the meetings about those things. Because, the Bitcoin meeting might not have necessarily said, this is the meeting where we're going to outline the future policy for our cryptocurrency stance. But ultimately, that's what it was, right? And that's what it became. I suppose that's not necessarily the intention of every meeting, but if it just seems like it's a natural progression of a lot of the discussions that happen in the meetings. So maybe it's harder for people to get engaged online because there's so much information flowing through the discussion board and everything. At least the monthly meetings, I guess, they identify maybe the more important things that need to be discussed. So, which is pretty good. It feels like a more interactive way to be part of the policy development.
I can't tell you
Okay.
that. It's run out.
Oh, okay.
So the fact it's going to be this thing.
In the
That's
future,
okay.
nothing works.
So I
Yeah.
guess that's just a matter of publicising, social media teams, I don't know, publicise what each face-to-face meeting is going to be about. Yeah, we can push that a bit more to say we're going to be speaking about policy sorts of things.
If you need any help with that, please just let me know, including proofreading and stuff like that. But yeah, you have to tell me because I'm one of those people who never knows. So
Give you an email or give you a phone call?
an email probably whatever it is.
Yeah.
Give me a Facebook.
Have you got an Asana account?
Yeah, I do, but I'm slowly working on how to.
All right.
Next thing. Mine doesn't work.
Yeah. You can still hold it if it makes you feel comfortable.
I'll put it
Yeah.
here.
This one should still be, okay, I guess. Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. That's backwards.
Yeah.
So you're gonna. I bet you. Yeah. There you go. So this is me. I'm the biggest team. That's what I'm saying. These are the people that are in it. A couple of them are more active than others. But that's okay.
A couple as well. Mark Spencer.
I'll replace him with Mark.
Jordan used to be.
I think all I do is just send you articles that I think are relevant. I don't really.
That's
fine.
good because you're trolling news.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, when I send them to you, I try to send the link and the policy.
Yeah.
To
It's good.
like, why I think it's we should discuss it.
That's good. So this is what the social media team does. I put that picture up there because I actually put that on the website, and then someone said on our Facebook page, and someone said you probably can't do that because of law. You're not allowed to satirise anything in Parliament. So let's take it down.
Can you believe that?
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's so
You can't
outrageous.
satirize things. You're
Things that
doing
happen in Parliament.
all the things.
Even though the entire process is satirical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd get a bit of a run with that image, which I call it Buddy Bill.
No, that's not satire though.
Yeah,
Like
pretty close.
the rules are like satire and advertising. You're not allowed to. So,
I would argue, no, sorry.
You can argue that it's both satire and advertising.
I think as long as you just have a picture, and it doesn't say anything over the top of it, it's not like in an obvious ad, it's okay for us to use, but that sort of stuff. We could potentially get into trouble for it, but it'd be pretty, well, it'd be an interesting case, I'd say.
There's a lot of line balls out there, and I'd rather be on the side of.
I have no assets in case you really want to do this.
Awesome. So what we try and do is, well, what we do is we create as much content as we can and spread it as far and wide as we can. That includes on Facebook, Twitter, on the blog for the Future Party, on the website. Facebook, we try and get at least one thing a day, most days. And I just checked, and like for most days in the last 3 or 4 weeks, each post has been getting about 1,200 minimum views, all the way up to like 4,000 or 5,000. A whole bunch of comments. It's really cool. It's really cool. Still working it out. Like there's a couple of things that I'm not doing 100% correctly, like using the word I instead of we and getting angry. But still, it's going gangbusters. It's really cool. There's lots of activity there. Creates a lot of discussion. Twitter, me and Stephen are hitting that up huge. We've done a couple of follow bursts where we just go and follow as many people as possible to get people to follow us back. So
What was the number?
it's a couple hundred now. A couple hundred followers, I think.
So it's you and who?
Stephen Gork, who you were going to buy him a beer if he came down.
That's right.
I think everyone was going to buy him a beer if he came down. Yeah. And what we're trying to do there is trying to get, say for example, 5 or 6 tweets of things per day and 10 or 15 retweets of things per day, and that gets a lot of attention. Also things like live tweeting Q&A, which is difficult, or live tweeting things like the budget that happened a while ago, or the election. That sounds like silly, but it gets a lot of people following us. So basically spreading everything that we have as far and wide as possible.
Which sounds crazy. It sounds like, oh, don't spray and pray. But in terms of successful Facebook pages and Twitters and stuff like that, like we actually are relatively, we're not too prolific in our posting. Like other pages are just like 3 or 4 stories a day. I don't know how they do it. As in, like, I don't know where they're getting their time for it. I'm pretty sure no one is like checking any of that stuff, or like whether it aligns with their values or like anything like that. But yeah. So our Facebook feed is kind of, despite the fact it's extremely active, it's relatively sedate.
I think that's a good rate, though. Like anything more than that, you're just harassing people.
Well, I think the point of having like lots and lots of discussion is that the reach then becomes more. So the more people talk about it, the more times it comes up in someone's feed. So we have, I think, just over 2,000, 2,500, no, less than 2,000 likes, right? But more than 8,000 reach. Like, every time we put up something, there's a possibility that it goes to like more than 8,000 people, which is pretty cool.
I was thinking also, I'm not sure if you do much commenting on Reddit, but sometimes if I see something on Reddit, I'll send you like the article and the link to the Reddit comments in case, because sometimes there's people raise topics that might be worth us throwing in a few words. Not that we're going to get a lot of traction out of that, but it shows people that still, because there's a lot of people who read it and not actually comment.
So I mainly use Reddit to mine for things to talk about. But I find that the people that I follow on Twitter also use Reddit, and if it's on Reddit, it's already on Twitter.
I was also thinking that
The problem with Reddit is they've kind of banned us. Yeah, I don't know, like the mods actually had an out for Future Party. Pirate Party supporters,
Really?
other party
But what
supporters, like a lot of green
what subreddit though?
are Australia. Like, we'll get all the time our posts will get banned for being political. All of our Australia is political. The whole damn thing is political. So, like, yeah, I had to go at some of the mods. Anyway, yeah, they hate me. So,
Well, I guess that doesn't bode well for my next statement. I was thinking that we should talk to the mods and try at least get one of them on board to do like leading up to the federal election, do a minor party kind of AMA for each, the leader of each minor party.
yeah, I mean, I don't have a track record. But if someone else wants to say, hey, I'm with the Future Party, and like, I'm a member, and
People like
cool
Tom.
if we had minor parties all come up and do an AMA, like, we just have a question and each party responds to each of the questions or something like that.
They'll get through different subreddit anyway. They'll be through the AMA subreddit too, so they can be different mods.
Yeah, but I don't know if
The
that
AMA's there.
AMA's kind of like global, and there's a lot of, they have their own kind of issues,
Yeah.
right? So recently, especially, but it may be harder to get like an Australian minor party AMA at global level. I don't think they go for it. But,
I just think it's insane how much power like Reddit moderators have.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. And it's completely opaque. Like, you can't, no one has any responsibility. No one knows anyone by first name at all, like, let alone second name. You know, they censor stuff, like big time censor stuff. Like, they were censoring Snowden stories and not telling people. Like, and shadow banning people for talking about stuff like that. That's nuts. Yeah, anyway, Reddit is not a nice website. It's just convenient. Anyway, but if we can get involved, it's good.
So following on, like we try and respond to all the interactions we have. So there's a lot of people who have some interest about the Future Party, so they'll contact us through Twitter or Facebook or email or something like that, and we're trying hard to respond to those things. A lot of Facebook messages are like, hey, I like the idea, what's your policy on this? And then we'll have to go and respond to that. Otherwise it's just dead, and then they get disengaged. We advertise events, advertise things that are happening. Like, I tried to hit this thing up as much as possible. I didn't expect that a Twitter, thing is going to get people here tonight, but it does get us talking about it. So now, because we've hashtagged Ozpoll, that means everyone who follows that hashtag, if they look carefully, will see Future Party involved in it. I think the design and branding stuff, the policy stuff, all that stuff that inter-party relations, a lot of that I'm interested in, and I think we should just fan it out to as far and wide as possible. Like I said, just getting as much as we can, because we have a lot of content, a lot of things, a lot of people say a lot of things, and we want to get all of that out there, like almost a constant stream of stuff, but good stuff, which is what we have. So that's the social media thing, and then there's the traditional media thing. That's Greg Temmertop. I met him and talked about our space policy with an astronaut. Sorry, that's just there. Sorry. What we want to try and do, and this is going to work heavily with you, so there's not much happening here at the moment because it's kind of working in unison with the design and branding side, is to make a communications and engagement strategy. Things like how do we engage more people, how do we communicate our message, what is our message, all of that sort of stuff. It's on the back burner at the moment, but I'd love to have a really full list of journalists that we can call, a full list of influential bloggers and stuff like that we can feed information to, and then they use that in their
I'm really interested in being involved. I know people part of Uniswap, as you said, and on the right-wing paper, you said the editor of that. So I actually really want to get in contact with that. Yeah, it's called like Mon. It's actually real fast. I don't know if we're going to be associated with it, but it does have quite a big reach. So, and I know somebody who writes on Uniswap as well. It's actually quite a big, quite a big thing.
There's something to regulate the space policy. Like, absolutely.
If we could get covered in Free Place Weekly, I would. Like, right, left, who cares? It's so right.
And there's actually metrics as well, which feeds into the analysis thing of, if you get mentioned in a newspaper, that's a certain amount of dollars that you would have spent. Like, so there's a number that you give. If you're on television, that's a bigger number of dollars if you're on radio. So you can actually measure how much you would have spent if you paid for that. And that's a nice way of looking at metrics. I'd like to do that as well. There's a few other things like a template for media releases, or which moves into, again, the voice and the standard of things we say and how we say it and when we say it and why, all of that sort of stuff.
I guess in that probably would tie in with creating some kind of globally accessible collateral folder in the Google kind of docs.
Yeah.
So it's got a would have like templates for like this for the presentations, templates for the releases, and just general logos and a way where you can just go to that folder if they're looking for a particular piece of collateral to use.
I also contacted the space agency guys, the ones that you said.
Oh yeah.
The main guy's in LA, so he couldn't make it. But I did invite them here this morning, knowing full well how I love them. But they read it. Some of them read the space policy and made some good comments. And it's really cool. It's really cool to start communicating with different groups. They had no idea that we were there, and they're really excited that someone else is doing it. And that's what Greg said, Professor Temmertop, sorry. He said, like, it's amazing that you guys are doing that. It's amazing that there's a group who wants to do that. And when I was talking about space policy and also the Charter City and a couple of the other policies, like, wow, you can do that? Yes, we can, and we're doing it. So there you go.
I think that our policy platform is the best in the country.
It's good that you think that.
It's the best in the country because it's so detailed. And it just covers so many different areas which are important, really, really important. I mean, there's a few little holes in there, but generally we've got a diverse set of policies which interest a lot of people. And so when people come to our website and they're like, oh, what am I interested in? And they're like, I've got help. Like, oh yeah.
You know what? I reckon in some sense it can be overwhelming for some people because they'll just go, wow, everyone. But I mean, that will come down to how we that'll come down to how we kind of design the website to present the information.
Yeah.
So more summary of the summary. I would agree with that, but it sounds like a difficult task.
We're playing an opening statement that we like a vision.
What is it that mean?
We'll do that. You contact me. The summary of the summary. I wonder if like we could leverage off this guy and get some quick introduction.
Already taken.
Can't do it.
Yeah, he said that he does not want his name anywhere near.
But he wants to give pointers.
That's fine. At the moment, like when I met him, I said, look, I'm not asking you for a loss. I'm not asking you for you. I just want to talk to you about it. And we had like a good hour and a half chatting about nerd stuff and space and Star Trek and space policy. And he was very supportive. He gave us some tips and take those tips, but I don't say Professor Green. That's what it said.
I know some people like that. I know someone like that. Can't open doors. You want to open doors.
He knows about us, right? So he goes, I can't, Facebook or Twitter or anything. He was great. But if he talks to someone and he does, and he knows a lot of people, who know this stuff, he will then, if he feels it's appropriate, he'll say, well,
What's the first step?
yeah, absolutely.
He will say, well, why don't you talk to so and so at you or whatever, and then you get the intro.
But that's important though, because I mean, basically, you've got to play hard to get.
But he was very impressed.
That's what I think.
And that's his vision for Australia as well, because he works at Sydney. His vision is to have a space engine. And that's what he wants. There's no other way
There is particularly right.
So when a group comes up to him, it's got a good idea about what they're talking about. Say the safety sequence, then it's enough.
There are going to be people out there like that.
Well, hopefully, some more else people from the Chinese space agency.
I wouldn't mind. Well, they're just a bunch of. You know what? They're like that science.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen. They're just going to sit around talking about, wouldn't this be great? Yeah, that'd be great. And then nothing.
Yeah, but
So
that's why I wondered if we can get our numbers up. So,
Yeah, that's
well,
what
they
they
come
come
in, and we're doing something.
Yeah, so it kind of, I mean, as a group, they might not do anything, but having them as contacts and bringing them into the fold and saying, well, this is the way we're going to achieve this. Some of them will come on.
Yes.
So, I mean, depending on how big it is.
Your family
That-
doesn't help sort of
Yeah.
space policy.
Exactly.
They want to get in on it.
Yeah.
Even from the point of view that it would look silly for us to have a space policy and not know about the Australian Space Agency Facebook.
Exactly.
That's also, there's other space-based organisations.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's like,
Absolutely.
And these guys as well.
Greg knows them, and he wants to kind of mention, but he does mention space policy and stuff, like Sebastian would. Anyway.
Yeah. So we're running out of time a little bit. We've got about 11 minutes left. So I'll just run through a few of the other big things that I was talking about at the beginning. So we need to do promotion in a big way because we need to grow, essentially. So our... Is it working? Yep. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, so primarily we're going to be dealing with electronic advertising because it's cheaper and easier. The conversion rates are just amazingly different. You know, a flyer costs 10 cents and a YouTube view costs somewhat less than that, which I'm not allowed to say technically because of the licensing of the thing, but like, yeah, less than half that. And like you can track the engagement. Anyway, in terms of money, I've worked it out for the last election and it was a huge difference. So that's where we're going to be going to for a lot of the paid promotion. We don't have a lot of money at the moment, but I think that it's a good place to put money that we do have because it works if you get the video right. So also to promote, obviously using social media interaction, being there all the time is very helpful. And the other part of it is going to be organic growth. So getting our existing members to bring in family and friends to join the party and to get involved. And when we do that, then we can actually start to grow grassroots networks of people who know each other and get involved in the party, rather than having a group which is, relatively disparate. Like, we got a little group of people who know each other previously face to face there, but here it's a bit more, just find out about the party and get involved. So having that organic growth which keeps people together in the party will be great. Next one. Okay. Did that just this one? No, okay. Yeah. In terms of growth, going interstate, Victoria is already off to a really good start. Victorians have been meeting, and it looks like things are happening for them. And after we get Victoria set up, we're going to try for other states. So see how that goes, see what the problems they have are. And then once we've got that established in Victoria, then start promotion in other states with a view to having a meeting or something like that where people can get together. So it's a very long-term thing going to other states, because it's actually extremely expensive, but in terms of the long-term success of the party, it's absolutely necessary. Even if it's just so that we have candidates in every state, because if we don't have candidates in every state, the media doesn't pay as much attention to us, because a lot of the news bulletins are national. Even if you think it's a local bulletin, quite often it's sourced by a national journalist. So it's really important to be involved in lots of electorates. Membership base expansion. So this is more just general. We need to have membership growth for revenue, for volunteers, and for candidates. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few slides. Electoral positioning, which is one of the things that I was talking about before, getting candidates into Senate tickets. So we need to start identifying people who would be good candidates to run for the New South Wales Senate ticket, but also possibly around the country. I also think it would be a good idea to have people running as candidates in individual electorates all over the place, because those people who vote in the lower house, in the upper house, would like to vote in the lower house the same way. I think it penalises us when we don't have a candidate running in the lower house a fair bit.
I just want to jump in and say that really makes me take notice of the party when they've got someone running in the lower house.
Yeah.
It's like super throwing out.
Yeah, exactly. It is really super throwing your hat in the ring, because it's fairly involved to do it. I'll come to that in a second. So yeah, electoral positioning. The other part of that is the Alliance for Progress, which is like preferences. I just put this map in because I thought it was fun. We're mostly involved in like there, but it'd be nice if we were to expand out to there, to Sydney, and beyond into other states as well. So
Just looking at that map, and my electorate is Watson.
yours isn't there yet?
No, it's there, it's Watson.
Yeah.
The member for Watson is Tony Burke, and his kids go to school with one. I just figured that out.
Is that true?
I want to do that. I feel like protein.
2 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Electoral positioning, when will the election be called? Potentially this September. There's talk about Tony Abbott using the workplace relations reforms as a trigger, because he keeps on trying to pass them, and they're a bit ridiculous, so they keep on being rejected. So he could potentially use that as a trigger. But Anthony Green, he wasn't referring to that specifically, but he thinks that there's not enough of a trigger for a double dissolution to be called, which is the only way that they can call it in this electoral, in this year. So they have to wait a bit. It could be as late as 2017, January 2017. So that'd be nice. It gives some time to build. But it's more likely going to be sometime next year. Okay, raising revenue. Yeah, this is a big deal. Operating costs, we're estimating to be about $2,900 a year. That doesn't include advertising, so there's costs involved in advertising. If we want to run in an election, it's $1,000 for each candidate in the lower house, and $2,000 for each candidate in the Senate. And to get a number above the line, you need to be having at least 2 candidates in your ticket. So it's $4,000 per state. So yeah, it's a lot of money. That means that if we were to run New South Wales only, $4,000. 4 states with only 2 candidates, $16,000. All states would be $28,000. And to challenge all seats all over the country would be $226,000. Yeah, it's not, is it? Even if you, if you found enough members, I mean, you'd have to have 150 members running in the lower house and 38 running.
So realistically, though, what could we consider an objective?
I think that we should only run in states where we have a active membership. So that would bring down the cost substantially. I would say I would be hoping that we'd get the Eastern Seaboard at least for the next election. So Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. We might be able to convince some Tasmanians who've been in the party for a long time to stand for us, but it might be a bit harder. The ACT election, I think it's only for 1 senator at a time. So it's $2,000 a pop. So you're probably looking at around about $17,000. And then whatever you can do to prop up that ticket as much as possible. So if we find some eager people who are willing to be endorsed, who are willing to pay their own deposit, you know, as many people as want to run, basically. But we're going to need funds. Like it's going to be a big deal to get the funds to run. So yeah, it's not democracy, is it? Yeah. So I guess the way that we are currently aiming to raise revenue, firstly, through a membership fee, this will probably cover about our operational costs. So for people who are earning under $50,000, $52 per year or $1 a week, people who are earning over $50,000, $2 per week or $104 a year. And there will, of course, be a way that people who feel they can't pay will be able to exclude themselves from it. So they write a short sentence saying whatever their situation is, and the executive will authorise it on a case-by-case basis. So it won't be out of their reach, but that's generally what other parties charge as well. Campaigns that we can run. So this is like our campaign page for the New South Wales state election, which is hidden. I think you hit it, maybe. Or did you cancel it?
No, I think Sarita made it, didn't it? Or someone hit it. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like it to be completed, but if it gets hidden when it gets completed, that's not. So yeah, some campaigns that we could possibly encourage people to donate for. So keep the Future Party lights on. You know, get the $3,000 number up, so that we can say yes, that's going to be for running the party, and then we can not have to worry about operational costs. Bring in a new member campaign. So the idea would be like, how much does it cost for us to get a new member? Oh, around about $40. Okay, donate $40 and you can bring in a new member to the Future Party. Nominated candidate campaign. So we have a big bar like this for like Senate races. So Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, whatever. And then we could also, if we wanted to, for individual candidates who say, I want to run, can you set up a page for me? Get all their friends to chip in, $50 just to pay for them to be nominated.
Yeah, that's good.
It really works on the expanding networks, and it's spreading the load because it is very centralized at the moment where the money is coming from for the party. Spreading that out.
Nation Building doesn't have a pledge system though, does it? Literally, it's text donations.
No, it does have a pledge system, but I don't trust it. Like, what's a pledge? A promise to do something.
No, like what I mean is that, I mean similar to Kickstarter, like where the money's not immediately taken from you, but you're like, that's essentially,
no,
you say,
yeah.
I pledge $50 to that candidate if they meet the, so you say each candidate needs $2,000 and they can individually kind of generate pledges for their own candidacy.
Yeah, so I'm resistant to do that because that would be the epitome of, spreading ourselves too thin. Imagine if we get people who want to donate to the Future Party generally, but they want to put it on a particular person, and we have 30 or 40 candidates who have, a few $100s each. That would be a real shame. So, but when we do it, we have to be very clear about what happens. So, if the candidate meets the, say, $1,000 mark, then that money goes towards running that candidate. But if it doesn't, it gets rolled into the general Future Party fund. You have to be very upfront about it. Like, what happens to this money?
But a preferential system. Person who gets money that it gets kicked out of the race and their money gets redistributed.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what we'd be doing when we combine the funds. Obviously, we're not going to say to someone, "Oh, you raised $900. Sorry." We're going to find the money from somewhere to get that person running because they've done a good job in terms of raising funds. It shows organisation, right? The ability to pull in people to fund your campaign is indicative of your social connections and your ability to pull volunteers as well. So I think even if they do miss out, we might redistribute some of those other pledges or those other donations. Yeah. I guess that's the end. What can you do? Become a member if you're not already. Join a team and donate in the meantime if you're thinking about donating, just to keep things going. Cool. People want to talk about other things? Oh, yeah? Let me just stop the broadcast.